JP, 730 Sports. Recap. New England, Houston, Atlanta, Seattle. We'll start in Atlanta. First of all, I live in Atlanta. You would think that the Falcons have already won the Super Bowl the way these people are acting. But that's what they do. That's why their heart breaks whenever they fall a little short because they get so hyped up over just being one step closer. But anyway, to the game. Pretty much, uh, what happened, the Seattle's offensive line is so bad at pass blocking that they can't afford to be behind. And they got behind and they were in trouble. Once they got behind, it was over because they were never going to have time to get the passes down the field for big gains. They were never going to be able to do that. Not consistently. Russell Wilson running for his life, that's the game. You know, started off good. They started off running the ball, but the very first drive they had was 8 minutes. So I thought that things were going well, and then it just sort of fell apart. The other problem they had on defense, which really surprised me, was when Atlanta stacked their receivers. They had Richard Sherman playing off, and Richard Sherman's not good in space. Either he has to bail when they play the three technique, or when they press, he has to have his hands on you. But if you have him standing behind another corner versus a stacked formation and Julio Jones running at him with the ability to go left, right, up, around, whatever he wanted to do, that's not what Richard Sherman does. He's in trouble in those type of spots. And Atlanta went to that all day long. They started their first drive with that, and they kept at it. And Richard Sherman got burned a little, but I mean that was scheme and game plan, and I don't know what the Seahawks were thinking with that. That's not Richard Sherman's game. That's not his game at all. So I mean, there's some other things that went wrong here for Seattle, but basically what it boiled down to was they got behind and they got a terrible offensive line. They can't pass block, and once that happens, you're in trouble. Um, Atlanta did a good job in coverage. They tackled well. Atlanta's defense looked pretty good. The offense was spectacular, but the defense looked pretty good. I was surprised. Decent pass rush, against a bad offensive line, but still give them credit. It was a pass rush. So Atlanta moves on. Seattle goes home. They got some things to work out. They'll figure it out. Still a talented team. They'll be back. All right, New England, Houston, pretty much played out like I thought. Houston put up a fight on defense anyway. And, offensively they were trying to fight. The problem is your quarterback is not ready. He he's just not ready. And that's going to be the problem. If you had any other quarterback in there with some experience and some understanding of reading coverages, you might have had a closer game here because you know New England made some mistakes, some interceptions, some tip passes, some dropped footballs. But Houston's offense is going to be the problem because their quarterback is not ready. Maybe down the line he will be. I think Bill O'Brien's a good coach. I think Osweiler has talent, but he's not ready right now. Not in this. Not for prime time. He's not ready for that. So yeah, that's pretty much the way that ended. Will Fuller dropped a big one. That might have changed the game a little bit too. A lot of speed, no hands. And the same thing, as far as the rest of the receivers go, Hopkins contested catches all day long. Like I said, he doesn't do very well at getting separation. Um, Option routes to the tight ends, crosses over the middle. Their offense is pretty basic because their quarterback is basic. So, even with New England sputtering and not playing their best game, and I'm watching the press conference, and that's all they're saying. We didn't play very well. So, it's still enough to beat a team because they don't have a quarterback. Houston doesn't have a quarterback. So, that being said, and I didn't do a preview on Kansas City, Pittsburgh, because I didn't feel we needed to do one. It's pretty simple, pretty basic what's going to happen there. Either they're going to shoot it out and we got to see who makes the most plays, or Pittsburgh might decide this is the game where they lay an egg. They're capable of doing that. Um, But if I had to pick a team, I'd take Pittsburgh over KC strictly because I don't trust Alex Smith in this type of a game. He won't be able to make enough big plays. If it turns into a big play type of a game, I take Big Ben all day long. JP 730 Sports. I'm out.